chest, I will do my best. I know what you fear, similarities. We poses, never will I pass the test. Their sin is fading, can my soul be put to rest? This is gonna comfort me, be the change it couldn't be. Can you find a life that's like fairy tales? Run from this tragedy, such a hard to wait from me. Feels like an eternity. Please forgive me for my sins, and just wings lifting is setting me free. This is gonna come from me, be the change I couldn't be. Can't you find a life just like fairy tales? Far from this tragedy, such a hard to wait from me. Feels like an eternity. Please forgive me for my sins, and just ways lifting is setting me free. The question of my life, sweeping like through the glass and clambering to dust. The question of my life, sweeping like through the glass and clambering to dust.
like a fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise. Oh, heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise. Oh, heart is beating faster, feels like thunder, magic, static. Call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise. Oh, it's our resistance. You can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping and the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are a conqueror.
They can take my heart, they can take my breath when they pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise. Oh, heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise. Oh, heart is beating faster, feels like thunder, magic, static. Call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise. Oh, it's our resistance. You can't resist us. It's our resistance. You can't resist us. This is how we rise. Oh, heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise. Oh, heart is beating faster, feels like thunder, magic, static. Call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise. Oh, it's our resistance. You can't resist us. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. Hey, yo. Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call.
it on my chest. I will do my best. I know what you fear. See me right, it is. We poses never be like past tests. The city's fading, can my soul be put to rest? This is gonna come from me. Be the change you couldn't